Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. And I'm just going to deep dive in because I have a very short timeline to punch in a lot of things. I am hopefully going to put across and also come across as a devil's advocate because whatever you've heard throughout, there's just no point repeating it. They are all very pertinent points. I missed out what Shonali was saying because I joined in a little late. But Arthi, Rajita, Geeta, you've put in so many things which are absolutely essential. So I am just going to start with the fact that never ever lose track of the fact that you are the nurturers, you are providers, you are managing complex chemistry in the kitchen. So there's nothing like, oh, I'm not technical or I'm technical and I can't handle this. Now in terms of so I'm going to be also taking you through my journey really quickly in terms of what I've done so far, and just drop little tiny balls, collect it as much as you can if it resonates with you, and I hope you take away lots of nuggets from this. Let me start with this. I started work as a teacher at the age of 13. I was studying 9 months, teaching 3 months. That's how quickly I got independent. It helped me gain confidence purely because I was financially independent at the age 13. There were still restrictions from home, and that stayed. But what helped was I brought the money home, which means I had a say in what I was trying to create for myself. Of course, the whole breakthrough happened much later. But I am just going to tell you the ages and the jobs that I've done so that you know your journey can be absolutely phenomenal. All right. So at age 13, I'm a teacher. Age 19, I'm a student. I'm also a radio jockey and a speaker on the radio. At age 21, I'm a teacher and a basketball player playing for my state. At age 22, I'm a naval officer. I got commissioned, spent 7 years there. I moved on. At age 29, I took over, work in the commercial sector and corporate sector as a sales head and regional operations head. All right. I moved to retail by age 32. By age 33, I took over as GM admin. So I've been having a lot of career shifts. If you take a look at it, I have touched almost every aspect, trying to figure out what am I really good at. All right. So there, from that age 33, I am handling a general manager position as admin. I had not done HR, but HR is what? People, not things, right? So as long as you know how to manage people, and let me tell you, we all do it anyway. So I got in and I made it to a group head HR by age 34 in my life. So I was handling HR for a full group of companies, which is from 14 companies. We went on to 16. I had to do everything from scratch and create that entire environment. Now, by age 34, when you reach that level where you've already peaked, now you are at a plateau. What next? Am I satisfied? Am I happy with this? What else could I have done? Because when you reach to that stage, very few, even men HR, make it to a CEO, COO position. They all get stuck there and they are like either director, HR, one of those positions. But you don't really get to become a CEO as much or an operations head. So there is that whole gap now. How do I get onto that stage? That's one. And then I stopped. I kind of took a step back and I asked myself, is that what I really want to do? So with whatever gap I had in work, because I had to come back to India, I worked in Nigeria, came back. And in that gap, I started doing things I truly enjoy doing. So by age 40, I became a photographer. So I've done that. Proper, professional photo shoots that I've done. So I've done those, created portfolios for people. By age 41, my change enabling journey started. I was still testing things out. I was still experimenting. Imagine the number of years it's taken for me to keep moving. And this is a large part of it also is as a single parent. So, nothing's really impossible. And I'm not like some hoor pari, mein hoor pari to hu nahi. It is available for all of us. We just have to tap into it. So when my journey started at age 41, I also tapped and tried out food business during just before demonetization, and then of course demonetization hit. So at age 44, I had tried out a business that I had zero experience in. It shut down, of course, and I said, okay, what next? From there, at age 46, I took over as executive director in an airline company. It was a startup, and I took over as executive director. Let me tell you, I had zero experience in airline except cargo logistics and being on a ship. So these things will come to you. They will constantly come to you. That's age 46. Age 47, I become a published poet. Age 48, I become a published author, and I get nominated for Pushcart Prize as for my poetry, which I had basically written a piece dedicated to my mom. By age 50, which is where I'm at right now, I have decided that I think I've fixed my purpose and I need to do this. And that is where I am right now, looking for those answers. I found those answers and I've become a change enabler. Now you wonder, what does a change enabler do? A change enabler is just enabling a platform and giving it to you where you can decide, oh, these options are also there. So I'm opening up little windows, giving you perspectives, which resonates from the experiences that I have in my life, but which will open up doors for you. Now, in all this time, I've taken over HR, I've done sales, I've done a lot of, things that are very related to HR. So for those of you who are going in for an interview today, please remember, value yourself, don't undersell yourself. There was such amazing pertinent points by Aarti. Thank you so much. Those inputs, I would have probably spoken about it, but because you have, I'm not going to. But I'm going to leave you guys with a question, certain set of questions which you need to ask yourself. And this is what I do now, helping people find their space in which they can, grow further. Why am I doing this? It's really, really important. When you are going to drop the ball, it will fall because you don't know your why. So why am I doing this is a very pertinent question. You need to ask yourself that, write it down. The why is extremely important. Then when you identify your purpose, make sure your why is aligned to that purpose. If it's not aligned, that is not your purpose, or that is not your why. So you have to keep assessing that. Give it a time for reflection. We all get very lonely when we don't have people around us, but alone time is important to get through these questions. And then until you do that, you will constantly be in that space of trying to do this, trying to do that, figuring it out. But most of us have it in us. So just find that gap, fulfill it. People will part with money for two reasons in your life. One is, can you make them happy? Second is, if you solve their problem. Find that problem, learn how to solve it, sell that. So that can be your product, that can be your service, it can be just about anything. So I'm going to leave you guys with 5 tips. All right. This is basically for your jobs. Ask for your worth and please stick to it. What it gets people to understand is that you are valuable and you are placing a charge that you are completely worth. That's one. Tip number 2, don't be afraid to call out BS. Ever. Call it out. People take it for granted that nobody will call it out, and that's half the reason the harassment just never ceases. And the minute you call it out, nobody is going to mess with you. So keep that in mind, be very, very aware of it, that this will happen. Number 3, read. Don't just read management books. Don't just read Gyan. Find your own space. Read any type of books. Okay, I'm not saying Mills and Bones, but please, let's just get out from that. That's entertainment now. But read, and then have someone in which you can engage in a conversation with about the book. Your vocabulary increases. You understand things better because of your vocabulary increase. And that is how you get ahead and get your edge. Point number 4, help. Constantly help each other out. I know how many of you have said it. The number of times you're saying it means it is an unspoken rule. Please help each other out. One day I will need you, you will need me. And which basically makes it that please feel free to reach out. If you need help, please reach out. And I'm trying to figure something out so that it helps all of us. But that's going to take some time. I'm working on it. But that is one. Now, the last point before I just kind of call it a day, be grateful. Be thankful about what you have, aspire, but be grateful for what is coming to you. Which means send that little thank you note, leave that thank you note around, tell people how important they are to you when they are alive, not when they're dead. And if you ever get into a conflict with someone who means a lot to you, I think the question you need to ask is, hey, let's just work this out. But if the person doesn't agree, the question you probably need to ask them is, what if tomorrow I woke up and you did not? What if you woke up and I did not? Would you feel the same, right? So that is something I'm going to leave you guys with. Thank you so much for having me. And, that's it. Thanks. And good luck to everyone who's applying.
Well, thank you. I mean, Sandhya, that was story sharing with a lot of practical insights, something that we can engage with and also kind of fall back on what we've gone through, right? Like all the unconscious bias, all the unspoken rules, we know it's there, but then we don't want to do anything about it because we're constantly thinking, what if I do this? But I think we should start thinking about what if I don't do this, like something will for sure happen and I will not like it. So I think that's a great way to end this session because we're reimagining this whole thing for women. And although on a very philosophical note there, right? Like when you want to resolve conflict, you're in that moment and you only want to talk about that one piece of conflict that's really bothering you. But the idea is to look at the larger picture and, kind of solve it out in time, which is great. Thank you very much for your fantastic insights. I'm sure the audience here also loved it. Thank you, Sandhya.